Hello, TV Days Drama Digest readers. We're back with a mind-blowing twist that's sure to have you glued to your screens. Today, we dive deep into one of the most shocking identity reveals in Days of Our Lives history, the mysterious appearance of a man claiming to be Doug Williams. Who is this young man, and why does he insist on being Doug? We're here to unpack the full story, and trust us, it's a lot more complicated than you might think. Let's rewind to the moment that shook Salem to its core. Picture this: Julie Williams, Doug's beloved wife, is sitting solemnly by Doug's grave, lost in thought. It's a quiet, reflective moment, but suddenly, the peace is broken by the sound of rustling nearby. A figure emerges from the shadows. Julie looks up and is immediately startled when a young man steps forward and apologizes for intruding. In a voice that is calm but filled with mystery, he introduces himself with these astonishing words, "I'm Doug Williams." Julie is completely stunned. She stares at him, her mind racing as she processes what she's just heard. How could this be? How could he be Doug? The shock on her face is unmistakable, as this revelation turns everything she knows upside down. But just who is this man, and what's his connection to Doug? To understand the gravity of this moment, we need to go back in time to an old chapter in Doug and Julie's life. Years ago, when Doug was grappling with his feelings of wanting to have another child, he faced a difficult decision. Julie, while still his heart's deepest love, wasn't sure if expanding their family was the right move. With a deep yearning for a sibling for his daughter, Hope, Doug made a choice that would have far-reaching consequences. He entered into a surrogacy program under the guidance of Dr. Neil Curtis, a renowned figure in Salem's medical community. The program was supposed to be anonymous, with the surrogate mother's identity kept secret, and Doug planned to raise the child as his own. But, as fate would have it, things didn't go according to plan. As time passed, Doug and Julie found their way back to each other, rekindling their bond. Doug assumed that he and Julie would eventually have the family he'd always dreamed of. With that hope in mind, he made the decision to withdraw from the surrogacy program. However, Neil Curtis, who had already found a surrogate and arranged for her to conceive Doug's child, informed him that it was too late to back out. The surrogate was already pregnant, and the child was his. But here's the twist: Doug's surrogate wasn't just any stranger. It was Rebecca North, Hope's former nanny. And Rebecca's life was about to get even more entangled with Doug's in ways he never imagined. Rebecca eventually married Doug's best friend, Robert LeClaire, a man who believed she was carrying his child, until the truth came to light. The baby she was carrying wasn't Robert's, it was Doug's. But in a shocking turn of events, Rebecca and Robert decided to raise the child as their own. When the baby, a boy, was born, he was named Dougie LeClaire, and Robert legally adopted him. But the story doesn't end there. Rebecca and Doug's former lover, Johnny, reunited, and they took Dougie with them, moving to Japan to start a new life. The twists and turns continued when tragedy struck. Rebecca and Johnny died in a plane crash, leaving Dougie without parents. Robert, the adoptive father, was prepared to step up and care for the child, but Doug, despite his estrangement from Julie, was never far from his mind. A letter from the late Rebecca soon arrived, revealing an earth-shattering secret: Doug was Dougie's biological father. Doug, deeply torn by the news, kept the secret for a while. But his behavior raised suspicions in Robert. The tension came to a head when Robert made plans to take Dougie to Paris, and Doug could no longer stay silent. He confessed the truth: revealing that he was indeed the father of the child he had never known. Although Robert was initially hurt, he eventually agreed to allow Doug to be part of Dougie's life. But in a twist of fate, the child, who had been named Dougie, was renamed Charles in honor of Robert's family legacy. The saga of Doug and Charles didn't end there. In a final chapter, Robert returned to Paris, and little is known about what happened to Charles afterward. It's said that he attended a boarding school in Europe, and for all we know, he might have started a family of his own, continuing the legacy of the Williams family in ways Doug never could have imagined. But here's the biggest twist of all: Charles, now an adult, is back in Salem, and he's going by the name Doug Williams III. This young man is the grandson of the original Doug, and he bears a striking resemblance to his grandfather, a man who was first introduced to viewers as a charming con man. Is Doug III here to continue his grandfather's legacy, or is there more to his story than meets the eye? This shocking identity revelation leaves us with more questions than answers. Who is Doug III, really? What does he want, and how will his arrival impact the lives of Doug, Julie, and the entire Williams family? One thing is for certain: this storyline is far from over, and we can't wait to see what happens next. Are you as excited as we are to uncover the mysteries surrounding Doug Williams III? We'll be watching closely to see how this new character shakes things up in Salem. We hope you enjoyed it and look forward to sharing more with you in the future. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe TV Days Drama Digest for more updates on Days of Our Lives.